spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong?
Hi there everybody, Spider-Kel back once again for a brand new line of Eaglemoss reviews. And as you can see, this time I'm going to be taking a look at the Marvel chess collection, starting with number 1, Spider-Man. Now, a lot of people have probably come from my previous videos and have seen all of my DC chess collection. Some of you might have just joined to see the Marvel ones, in which case welcome. I hope you enjoy these reviews. In my previous ones, I just looked at wave 1 of the DC chess collection from Eaglemoss because it focused on Batman. The second wave, as everybody knows, was more based on JLA, which I'm not a fan of. That's where the difference is between DC and Marvel for me. DC, I like Batman. I don't like Batman, I love Batman. I love the character, love the story. It's just incredible. That's where it ends. I'm not a fan of Superman, not a fan of Green Lantern, not a fan of Wonder Woman, or any of them. Batman is where it is for me. Marvel, on the other hand, I love every single character that comes out of there. Bar 1 or 2, probably. That's maybe a little bit too far, but, you know, I love so many of the Marvel characters. So when this line was announced, I was very excited. At the same time, I wasn't sure whether I was going to get this. I'm collecting a lot right now. I'm just finishing off the Marvel graphic novel collection, which Eaglemoss started releasing years back, and that's almost coming to the end. I'm also obviously picking up the Batman Automobilias. Whenever one comes out that I like, I'll pick it up. Although one hasn't been out for a while, so that's just as it comes and goes. But I'm also collecting the Star Trek starships from Eaglemoss again. Eaglemoss just basically, I have a direct debit set up so that when I get paid I give them all my money, which is something I've often said, and I heard someone else say, we may as well just give them all our wages, because there are really so many things that you just look at and go, for God's sake, oh, alright, here's my money, give me. And yeah, this was another one, and I just thought, can I afford it? Do I have the space to display it? Because I've got so many of the Star Trek starships now, I'm running out of space. I don't know where to put them all. And I just thought, can I justify getting this? And I went backwards and forwards. I was going to get it, I wasn't going to get it, I was going to subscribe, I wasn't going to subscribe. And then I just thought one day, screw it. And I put out a subscription for it. So there we go. But I kind of couldn't miss this because, as I've said, Marvel is just so much better to me than DC. There's always the big DC's better than Marvel or Marvel's better than DC, and everyone is going to have their own opinion on that, and everyone's going to either prefer DC or Marvel. A lot of people like both. I don't dislike DC. It's not my favourite at all. And Marvel is definitely where it's at. So this was very exciting. And yeah, I gave in the end and thought, right, screw it. I'll be honest as well and say that this was also kind of decided for me by my son. I had him in my arms when I picked this up, and obviously I got it from the shop. And it had it on the back of a card, so you had like this magazine and the figure next to it. And as soon as I picked it up, I showed it to Daniel and went, hey, what do you think? And he reached forward and grabbed hold of the card and started trying to grab hold of Spider-Man and got really excited. It was either the colours or that he recognises the character because it's on TV quite a lot. And he just got really excited, and I thought, right, that's decided it, I'm getting it. So, thanks, son. Awesome as ever. Yeah, so I decided to start collecting these, and with that I thought, I enjoyed reviewing the DC line so much, let's do it all again with the Marvel line. So there we go. So we start with number 1, which is Spider-Man, and as you can probably tell by my YouTube name, Spider-Man is one of my favourite characters. In fact, I would go as far as to say he is my favourite character. It's always a toss-up between Spider-Man and Batman. And I think Spider-Man really kind of creeps into beating Batman for me, just on the fact that I've liked Spider-Man a lot longer than Batman. Always been a kind of Batman fan, but Spider-Man, I had a t-shirt of him when I was like 2 years old. I've seen pictures of me wearing a Spider-Man t-shirt. I had a Spider-Man cake when I was 7. Just love this guy from the very beginning, and I think it's because he's just so relatable. I'm not going to go into the whole he was bitten by a radioactive / genetically altered spider, and that's how he became. Everyone knows who Spider-Man is, how he became who he is. And it's just such an interesting story, and all the way through the ages, all of the different adventures and all the different things he's been through. I mean, hell, at the moment, Superior Spider-Man, the fact that his mind's been taken over by Doc Ock and Peter Parker, for all intent and purposes, died. You know, I will admit I've not been able to read that line, but I've kind of been trying to keep up with it as best I can. And that is a really interesting story, and just so many fun enemies that he fights, and the fact that he is the troubled teenager, or when he started he was. And back then the teenagers were quite often the sidekick to the hero, and it was Stan Lee and Jack Kirby that decided, you know what, no, we're going to make the teenager the hero. He's relatable. He had girl troubles, he had school troubles, trouble with bullies, you know, he wasn't popular, he was nerdy. And a lot of people read it and could relate to it, and could relate to what Peter Parker went through, and the transformation he made, and trying to juggle his real life with his superhero life, and maintaining the responsibility he had with his great power. A little paraphrase on the advice he was given by Uncle Ben. And I think that's just what makes Spider-Man such a popular character, as well as the fact he's fun, it's enjoyable, and just, let's be honest, how much would you just like to fire webs from your wrists and swing through the city? That just looks like so much fun. You know, and it's just such an enjoyable character, such an enjoyable story that makes him so relatable to a lot of people. And that's why I like him so much. So yeah, obviously with this we get the magazine, and what I like about this, which is different from the DC version, and I'll just pan to this now, and obviously I had to pan out a little bit. In the middle we don't have, in the DC one we had a comic or a graphic novel that this character was related to. In the Marvel ones we're getting these beautiful centre spreads, which is going to be based on either an iconic a comic cover or a picture of the character, and I absolutely love this. If I wasn't wanting to keep these in, like, obviously in good condition, I'd be tempted to take these out and stick them all across my wall. I really would, because that is just a fantastic picture. And throughout as well, I just flick through this magazine very quickly. We have, as usual, your biology of the character, all the different things that they have been through, different stories. Then you have the centre spread, and then it goes more into Tales of the Spider, all the different classic stories, as they've called it. So I like it that they haven't got it in the centre where it's one specific classic story. On this one they've got it where there's quite a few, because there is a lot of amazing stories from all of Spider-Man's mythology. And then we move into a particular moment or a strategic move based on the piece that it is designed on, and then at the very back we have all the details on what that piece can do and why they have chosen Spider-Man to be a White Knight and not the King. And yeah, just really interesting. And then that's what comes next. But it's just a really interesting comic, kind of the same to the DC Chess Collection comics, but just with those little changes. Oh, it's opening up. Just with those little changes, which I quite enjoy. So there we are. But anyway, enough about the comic. We're here to look at the figure. So let's bring that out now and see what it's actually like. And here we have the Spider-Man piece itself, and looking very, very nice. I'm very happy with this piece. A couple of little bits and pieces on it that are slightly disappointing, but overall very happy with it, and love the pose and the colour on here as well. But before we go into all that, we'll move into the face. And as you can see, very nicely detailed. The eyes are very slightly lopsided, which you can't really tell until you come in close like this. And because they're so big, it's not so much of an issue. Just ever so slightly lopsided. I like the slight detail on the webbing of his mask. I think if they'd have actually painted that black and made it more pronounced and more standout, I don't think it would have worked as much. I quite like that it's quite discreet. I like how we have the different details, like for his nose there sticking out and his chin, and you can see the features of a face that would be underneath there, little small bump out here that would be his ear and things like that. I think that's a really nice touch. It's just kind of a shame about this little bit of a black smudge that I have on mine on the face. I haven't been able to determine if that is a paint chip or if that is actually a smudge with the black paint, but it does kind of stand out, which that is a shame, and I didn't notice that when I picked this one up in the store and bought it. Otherwise I would have tried to find another one. So yeah, a little bit of a shame, but not so bad that it completely deters away from the figure. I do love this spider detail on the front. That is just so nicely detailed and painted. Very, very intricate work there. I think they've done a fantastic job with. The same with the suit, and the webbing on the suit around here is a lot more pronounced, a lot more than on the face. And again, I like that. I like that it's more pronounced on here than it is on his face. It would have just distracted away from the face sculpt had it been on there. I will say I do kind of wish that he had his web spinning pose with his hand rather than a fist. I can kind of see probably why they've done that. It's just so much easier to detail a fist than it is having two fingers out, you know. And yeah, I think it would have been prone to more breakages if that was the case, but that would have been a nice touch. Not so much a big problem, not such a disappointment, just it would have been a personal preference of mine. We go to the back and we have the large red spider symbol painted on there. Very nicely done. Again, a couple of paint smears, but I said through all my DC reviews, and I'll say it again here, I don't mind little paint smudges here and there because I know these are all hand painted, and it gives it that much more individuality and distinctness and personality rather than it being machine made and everything is the same, you know. So I'd never mind the little paint smudges here and there. If it's so bad that you can't stand it, you could easily paint it yourself, really. But that's something that I never really particularly mind. We move down, and obviously we just have solid blue legs, as Spider-Man has, and there's another black paint smudge there I hadn't noticed before. Oh, no, that's a shadow. No, it's not. It is a paint smudge. That's a shame, right there in his leg. Oh, I'm finding all of these paint smudges. I think there's one there in his crotch as well, or is that a... Nope, no, we're just looking at Spider-Man's crotch now. Okay, no black smudge there, so we'll move quickly on. We have some very nicely blue. I love the colour of the blue and the red that they've chosen as well. Definitely Spider-Man colours. They haven't gone too light or too dark with it, so very, very nicely done. And right down to the base as well, we have his legs. Same as always, you have these really nice red with the webbing detail on there. And looking really good. I will say as well that these bases for the Marvel line that we have, just zoom out a bit so we can get that all in, I do really like these, how we have the knight at the side and then the Captain America shield symbol on the sides, which I think is the same for all of them. But I do like that, and we again have the knight there. On the back we have Marvel, and just in case you're interested, on the bottom we have Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man again in two different languages. The number, and then I imagine that's the serial number, and then a nice Marvel logo, and that's pretty much all on the bottom. I do love these bases. I love the brick detail, the colouring on there, very, very nicely done. Haven't yet received a villain side piece. Well, obviously we've got the first three. Loki will be the next one that is released. So I haven't actually seen the villain bases yet, but really liking these hero side ones. Very nice, especially with the Captain America symbol on the side. A very cool feature, considering that Captain America will be the king of this set. Overall, a couple of paint smudges, one on his face, his leg, but that'll just be unique to mine. Other than that, a very fantastically done figure. Beautifully coloured, nice blue and red that they've chosen for this. Very, very happy with this. Again, would have been nice to have had his fingers in the whole kind of, you know, that sort of pose, but yeah, it's fine as it is. Overall, a fantastic figure to start it off with. Very happy with this and very excited for this line to continue. And that's pretty much all I can say without repeating myself. So, I hope you enjoyed the review, everyone, and I hope you can enjoy the remaining ones that I bring you. But until the next time, take care, and I'll see you soon.